$200 million. You're Malone Lam, the young guy who walked away with the crown jewels. Every luxury, every car, every high. It's all yours because you had the guts to take it. You're tossing a fortune in leather to Sky Bree because, at this level, money is just paper. Imagine having 10 supercars and a private road before you can even legally drink. Most 20-year-olds are folding laundry. Malone Lam was busy folding $200 million he could bypass the world's most secure blockchains, but he couldn't bypass a no. When the money isn't yours, $1 million bar tab feels like pocket change, doesn't it? It started in the dark corners of Discord, hunting for a single digital gold mine. 5 friends, 1 massive ego, and a plan to reset their lives forever. Legally, of course, he spent his days staring at code, navigating a world where identity is entirely optional. Sprinting across the bridge at sunset, thinking he had finally outpaced the entire federal government buying a gold SUV, is a great way to stay invisible if you are a son. The higher the splash, the harder the fall. When the FBI finally checks your receipts, they thought they were a syndicate. In reality, they were just kids playing with fire. Nothing says I have more money than sense, like wearing a parka in Florida heat. One last look at the ocean before the digital ghost finally meets a real prison. This is Malone Lam, who stole $200 million and spent it like GTA cheat code. The internet allows people to connect across the globe to collectively ruin their lives. In a dark room in Singapore, a 20-year-old was hunting for digital gold mines. 5 kids in 5 rooms, linked by Discord, and a shared appetite for federal prison. Veer was an aspiring lawyer now. He's just getting a head start on his own defense. They traded normal lives for the anonymity of the dark web and anonymous crypto forums. The target Genesis Global Capital, a bankrupt firm with a database worth a fortune. 1 name, 1 balance, and 1 massive mistake waiting to happen in an Excel sheet. They didn't just find a victim. They found a person sitting on a digital mountain in a messy Miami apartment. The heist of the century was pinned to a corkboard. If Google support calls you at midnight, they aren't there to help your inbox settings. Veer played the part perfectly, convincing a stranger to hand over their entire digital life. A lonely house, a glowing phone, and a man about to lose 200 million remote desktop software is great for IT help, and even better for high-stakes digital robbery. Malone watched in silence as the victim opened the door to the ultimate vault. A single string of text was the only thing standing between them and absolute wealth. 4,000 bitcoins moved across the world in seconds. The heist was officially complete. No faces, no expressions. Just 3 kids who became multi-millionaires. Before their morning coffee, the hackers landed in Miami, ready to turn dirty crypto into a very loud lifestyle. When you steal 200 million, a $68,000 monthly rent feels like a bargain. The cars arrived first because nothing says low profile like a matte black Bravis G-Wagon. 10 supercars in neon colors. It's a great way to hide if you're a highlighter. Nothing says legal income like a 20-year-old in a silver jacket spending a decade's salary. They ordered 50 bottles of champagne, proving that money can't actually buy a personality. Designer bags and luxury parties were the only things Malone knew how to buy. You can steal 200 million, but you can't steal a girl's genuine interest while they partied. A blockchain investigator was quietly connecting every single digital dot. They recorded the heist, but forgot to hide the name of the guy narrating it. They tried to wash the Bitcoin, but the blockchain never forgets a dirty transaction. Mixing stolen millions with a Louis Vuitton belt purchase is a masterclass in stupidity. The feds were watching the cars, the mansion, and the kids who couldn't stop. They thought Monero made them invisible, but every digital ghost leaves a footprint for the right hunter. A Louis Vuitton receipt is a paper trail that leads straight from the boutique to a prison cell. 1 server, 1 login, and 1 IP address that tethered their Miami fantasy to a physical location. They recorded the heist for the flex, but accidentally gave the FBI a high-definition confession. Connecting 10 supercars with red string is a federal agent's favorite version of connect the Dots. Anonymous wallets don't stay anonymous when you use them to order a pepperoni pizza to your front door. They called themselves legends in the chat, forgetting that legends usually end up in history books, not police files. It started with the ghost of a dead company, using leaked data to haunt the living. 4,000 bitcoins on a single stick. It's the world's most expensive thumb drive, and it's about to catch fire as the sun sets over Miami. The hunters were already closing in on the neon-lit playground. Thermal cameras don't care about your luxury lifestyle, they just see heat signatures waiting to be cuffed. Listening to 20-year-olds brag about Bitcoin is a special kind of federal punishment. They tried to hide the money in a digital blender, but the math always leads back to the thief. A private jet on the runway is a great escape plan, unless the pilots are already grounded by the feds. In the shadows, the loyalty of a criminal syndicate usually lasts until the first person sees a badge. Laptops and encrypted drives are the modern-day DNA once they're in the lab. The game is over. Malone Lam, from a Singaporean passport to the most wanted man in a Miami mansion, standing on the balcony reflecting the moonlight, completely unaware that his clock just hit 0. While Malone was dreaming of more Lamborghinis, 30 agents were studying his floor plan. 5 black SUVs crossing the bridge in total silence. No sirens needed when the target is sleeping. The high walls of a $68,000 rental are surprisingly easy for the FBI to climb. A battering ram is a very loud way to cancel a lease agreement in slow motion. Waking up in a lime green robe to find the government in your bedroom is the ultimate vibe check. He tried to drown the evidence, but the feds are much faster than a 20-year-old throwing arm. Laptops don't float, and neither do billionaire dreams once the red and blue lights arrive. The FBI doesn't need a password when they have a synchronized stack and a glass-shattering entry. Frozen in the flashlight, Malone realized his designer sneaker collection couldn't help him outrun the feds. Evidence bags replaced designer shopping bags as the primary accessory in this mansion. Marker A next to a Lamborghini. That's the most expensive evidence in Miami history. The red record light is the only thing Malone is hosting these days. The IRS doesn't care about your Discord legend status, they only care about the titles. Connection lost. In the digital world, silence is the loudest sound of a life ending. Even the wealthy neighbors stopped to watch the 20-year-old's empire get carried out in boxes. 10 red dots across Miami, each one a supercar returning to the hands of justice. A fleet of neon Lamborghinis sitting in a sterile government impound is a haunting image. Hidden in a red leather bag, the $230 million secret was finally pulled into the light. One signature turned a high-stakes game into a federal conspiracy case with no escape. 4 friends, 4 cells. The syndicate is now just a series of isolated orange jumpsuits. A red string connects a Singaporean passport to the biggest crypto heist ever recorded. Veer is finally getting that legal education, just through a thick layer of prison plexiglass. Only the Miami thunderstorm remains in the hollowed-out penthouse. Behind every stolen Bitcoin is a real person whose life was a line of code. Malone stands before the only judge he couldn't social engineer. The Brabus is on the block. The stolen luxury is being liquidated for the victims. A 404 not found page, the final resting place of Malone's digital ego. The victims see their balances return. Justice in the blockchain is slow but absolute. Data pulses returning home the stolen 4,064. Bitcoins are finally back where they belong. Veer is finally reading about ethics, a bit late, but better late than never. The for rent sign is up. The next tenant probably won't have 10 Lamborghinis. Balenciaga, in an evidence bin high fashion, meets the low reality of a prison sentence. Teaching inmates to code on old monitors, Malone's final contribution to the world of tech. Zoc BT types the final words. Case closed. The digital detective won this round. Miami glitters on, indifferent to the ghosts of the kids who tried to own it. Astronomical numbers on a screen, but this time the teller is moving them legally. International cooperation proves that the internet isn't big enough to hide from the law. Trust is the weakest link, a lesson learned the hard way by everyone in this story. Malone and Gentile eat in silence. No more champagne, just plastic trays and regret. The orange Lambo has a new owner who can actually afford the insurance premiums. Sparks fly as the digital evidence is physically shredded into 1,000 tiny pieces. A single ping in an empty room. Nobody is left to answer the call. The news vans pull away. The story of the $230 million heist finally fades out. 12 words burn in a lighter's flame. The keys to the kingdom are gone. Across the world, another kid sees a crypto ad. The cycle of greed resets. A heavy metallic thud marks the end of the file for Malone Lam. A contact deleted on a yacht. She didn't want the man or the drama. Malone looks in the mirror and sees exactly what he started with. Nothing. Zero faces, $230 million. One very long prison sentence. Malone found the anonymity he wanted. He's now just a single, lonely white pixel. If you want more deep dives into digital downfalls, subscribe and watch our next investigation here.